பட போச்சே.
ஹாய்டா.
ஹாய் பரஃப்.
ஹலோ.
யாராச்சும் இருக்கீங்களா?
இல்லை.
3 பேர் ஹலோ சொன்னேனே. யாராச்சும் இருக்கீங்களான்னு கேட்குறான் பாரு.
சாரி.
செவுட்டு முண்டும்.
Sorry.
அறிவு கட்டம்.
Sorry.
Technically, அறிவு கட்ட முண்டம் is a
You.
slight paradox because
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
a
a mundam,
oxymoron.
you are, yes. Oxymoron coming from a moron.
That's what he said.
That's what
What?
everybody said.
That's what he said about Jawar.
Who said?
You said.
Okay, I am lost.
Hi, lost. I am Bharat.
Talking to Barav is like losing your mind because you're talking
ஹலோ,
about-
யாராச்சும் இருக்கீங்களா?
You know, recently, right? Apparently, there's some TikTok video. I don't know what the hell the video is, but the music lyrics are, the song lyrics are, let's put the dick in the mouth. I'm not joking, no. I doing my own dance, Aswini using TikTok. Then I see enna lyrics like this. And apparently it's some like makeup video.
Oh, put a dick. Okay. I know. It's where they do all these the dress changes, that kind of.
Yeah, those sort of shit. They do the dress, makeup stuff. Then I thinking, what the hell song is this? They say, I don't know, it's just some makeup dress video. Then like, for what are you using this sort of song? Kaala romba maarichi.
Yeah, bro.
At this moment, I would really want to address one thing. As much as TikTok can be entertaining and what, but certain comments on the TikTok is really violating.
Today is damn bad. You
It's
see
damn
like
bad.
you know, like even like in the Nadigaigal or the Instagram, right?
Yeah.
You see some of the comments that people
Oh, this
put,
is the worst, bro.
it's
this
damn
so-
raba.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's damn raba. Then
Yeah.
this இதை சொல்லும் போது தான் நம்ம இதை இன்னும் டீட்டெயிலாக பேசுறதுக்கு முன்னுக்கு நம்ம இந்த வார டாபிக் முதல்ல சொல்லிடுவோம். We would like to address the topic called very sensitive called depression.
Very sensitive called depression.
A very sensitive topic called depression.
Sensitive topic called depression.
I hear you. I become depressed.
Yes.
I hear you introduce the topic. I am
Yes.
depressed.
இதை நான் ஏன் இந்த நேரத்தில் இன்ட்ரோடியூஸ் பண்றேன்? யாராச்சும் ஒரு ஆளாச்சும் கேளுங்கடா. பரவ் நீ கேளு.
Shari, சாப்பிட்டியா?
இவா நீ கேளு.
Why da?
yeah.
Why da? Why
Yes,
the topic
thanks.
da?
Very good friend.
Yes, I know da.
இல்ல நம்ம டிக்டாக் பத்தி பேசிட்டு போது நம்ம அந்த காமெண்ட் வயலேட்டிங் சொல்லும்போது நீ நடிகைன்னு ஒரு வார்த்தை சொன்ன பத்தியா?
Mm-hmm.
That's when I thought it would be a nice time to introduce this topic because
Why?
how many of y'all know the artist Billie Eilish?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know.
I think everyone does. Why?
Barav?
அவங்க பெயிண்ட் வருவாங்களா? அவங்க தானே?
Ignore him. Continue.
He அறிவு கொழுந்து.
It's messing with you.
Okay.
Yes.
So she has this habit of wearing clothes which is extremely big.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Clothes are always very baggy, like
Baggy.
super XL, that kind of thing. She's only,
Mhm.
I think she's like S or M size. So recently she did a photo shoot where she will wear something which is more exposing of the skin.
Uh-huh.
And for someone who has not shown anything related to her body,
Mm-hmm.
when she finally revealed herself, the comments started coming in. So this is what you have been hiding
Oh.
inside. And
Oh.
and literally she has she's a person who's very has a very complicated past,
Okay.
which causes, that's why if you listen to her songs, right, it's very moving.
Mm.
It has a lot of meaning to it. So for someone like that, when people started commenting like that, she came out openly and said, this is why I didn't want to do this kind of photo shoot, and she immediately turned off her comments.
Mm.
This is one of the many celebrities who have faced this issue. For people who don't know anything, right, they just comment like, okay, you know, they talk sexual stuff or hurting stuff and all. But when a person who's receiving end, especially as a celebrity, can you imagine 600, 700 comments all talking bad things about her? How will you react?
You know, this can dive into a topic. Yeah, but I also get like one topic where we can talk about in the future probably is like the toxic culture in social media.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we did address it.
We
very
already
early
done
on.
We did address it very vaguely, but recently I've been seeing a lot.
It
Like
is
a
lah.
lot. A
But
lot.
that's also the main reason is, you know why? Because of due to lockdown. People are tend people tend to use the social media and entertainment, like, TikToks and stuff, to keep themselves occupied. And that's the reason why I feel there's a reason hike in these things which is going around.
So in the topic when you started from Billie Eilish. So how does this have to do with us? What does this have to do with us, with the four of us?
Okay, இப்போ நான் இந்த question it's not about four of us, but depression. I believe in one point of life, all of us would have gone through depression. Okay, not in a bad way, because we can even be depressed when someone who's close to you would have
Mm.
left the world. I don't want to.
Hmm.
That's why I'm trying to say. So in the depression value lane, there's நிறைய subtopics, right?
Mm.
My point of this depression thing is everyone has gone through depression, and how people should handle it in our point of view. That's what I would like to address today in this episode.
I think it's more of like not how people should, but how people can. There's no should.
Yeah.
இந்த மாதிரி தான் டிப்ரெஷனை வந்து டிப்ரெஷனை வந்து கவுண்டர் பண்ணணுங்கிற இந்த கைட் புக் இல்லை. அது வந்து வரோம், எந்த விதத்தில் வரோம் தெரியாது. ஆனால் வர்ற நேரத்தில் வந்து அதை எப்படி நம்மளே பாதுகாக்கலாம். ஸோ அதுதான் we will explore rather than should.
I feel like dealing with depression, right, is what I would like to cover in the episode is like for கேக்குறவங்களுக்கு like what you can expect to hear is like from my perspective also is like no, in your perspective when you're going through depression, right, you'll feel like nobody fully understands how you feel and how heavy the weight of all your problems are. People can tell you advice and hear you out and all that, but at the end of the day, யாராவது என்ன செஞ்சாலும் you will still feel like you're stuck there alone, because you know that you cannot come out of it unless you take the effort to step out of it. But to take the effort to step out of it is really a lot of work. And maybe நிறைய பேர் வந்து clinically depressed ஆயிருக்க மாட்டாங்க. மேபி சில பேர் டாக்டர் சைக்காட்ரிஸ்ட போய் பார்த்து they might have been clinically diagnosed with it. But what I'm trying to say is maybe if you didn't go seek help, professional help, you might still never know if you have been or are depressed. So it's good to check in with yourself once in a while and see how your mental health is doing also. So that's one of the things that we will be talking in this topic. With regards to this depression, right? I'll just go around number group. Does anybody feel that they have been depressed at any point in their life, at least once before in our group so far? Jawar?
Yes, definitely.
Sharif?
Yes.
Barf?
At times.
So yes lah.
Yeah lah.
Okay. So okay, let's just go one by one then. Okay, so I'll end off with me. I'll start with Jawar first. So Jawar, like what like I will don't need to go through every point, but in the point in your life or what situation or whatever that you were in made you feel most down or depressed?
So Yuvan, நீ கேட்ட கேள்விக்கு before I address, right, I want to put this out there. Okay lah, என்னோட personal opinion கேட்டினா, depression is something which is you're depressed because you're sad over something, right? So நீ வந்து அந்த once you learn to live and move on, you eventually recover from depression, correct? But one thing I want to put it out there, that doesn't mean you forget the thing. It's always in the back of your head, and it will always be something very sensitive. Though you're not depressed, I feel that it's a sensitive thing. So in the விதத்துல நீ கேட்டினா, there's something which is very very sensitive to me till now, which was very terrible for me, was in the year of 2018. Not 2018, sorry, 2014. Yeah, 2014. It was one of the most horrible year of my life. I lost my grandfather on the year lah.
Okay.
So all my life I've been growing up with him, like a role model kind of thing. Like, everywhere, like going to NTUC, everywhere is like with him. And we used to stay like 8 stories away from each other in the same block kind of thing. Then there was a point on life where my parents had to shift in with him to stay for a while, and also he had to shift into my place to stay for a while. So there was these 2 phases also I went through with him. Then there was a phase where he also had to shift out totally from Yishun. So, like, what I can say is my whole life I've been with him, right? Then suddenly, right, he just not there. I really couldn't accept it. He got the funny thing about the whole matter, right? He went in for a hip replacement surgery because he dropped down in India. Then they operated him there. They had to bring him back to Singapore. My uncle brought him back in Singapore and then admitted him in Kutikpot and all. He went for a hip replacement surgery in Kutikpot. Took him 6 months and he never returned back. Ever. And that's something which I cannot get over it because உள்ளுக்கு போன the hip replacement okay, and the person just passed away. Like, no, he's so healthy at the age of 70. He was still working. He will wake up 5 a.m., have a good breakfast, and he's so healthy for age, right? That even he had diabetes, he recovered and he's like so good. And then because of a hip replacement surgery, he's no more there. Then I couldn't take it. I really couldn't take it. I like broke down, and I at that point of time, right, I was like, when once I broke down, right, I cut everyone out of my life kind of thing. I was just in the shadows all the time. Never met my cousins, never met my friends. Like, it took me very long to recover over it. And it's like every time I think about it, I'm like breaking down and stuff. It's not a. It was very bad on me. Socially, also I couldn't socialize. Then physically and emotionally also I'm unstable because physically I wasn't taking care of myself because I had a surgery before that. Then after that I needed to recover from that. Also I never take care. I went for hamstring surgery. Also never take care. Emotionally also never take care of myself. So I was like all over the bloody place. So this is the thing which happened to me.
How has things been for you like over the years? Did you like completely recover from it or?
Over the years, completely recover. Yes, completely recover lah. Like, I now can sit down and have a conversation and tell all the things and I went through and stuff. But going through it was like very very difficult for me. Like, I couldn't like see myself like thinking at that point of time when I think far, right, I was like, oh shit, that's it. I cannot get over it. I thought it is going to be there all the time. But eventually, right now, I got over it. And then it's like something which is always there and I can still talk about it. But I just can't like point my finger on why was it so difficult to go through it. I mean, I feel that everyone when they go through something like this, right, they can't really point a finger. Oh, இதனால தான் இவ்வளவு வலி, இவ்வளவு தான் உன்னால go through பண்ண முடியல. And when you're in one thing I want to put there, right, when you're in very depressed state, right, and then people come and talk to you, and I feel the worst thing at this moment when people will do, right, especially when someone pass away or something like that, right, they will come and say, okay, கவலைப்படாத, அழுவாத. I feel that I really need to put it out there, really stupid, because they really need to let everything out in order to converse, and you're telling the person to hold the emotion and hold strong. What's the point? They need to let it out. What? And it's worse because I don't know whether should I talk about this. Okay, it's
Just
worse
keep
because
going.
I was the eldest grandson, and due to my religious customs, right, we have this habit of where we bring them in and we will shower them and then wrap them before we go. And I'm like inside with my 3 uncles, then 4 of us, and then I'm like holding him to like shower him. The whole thing, right, was very scarring till now. It's like, oh shit, this is how it's going to be when someone bloody close to you pass away, they are going to be there in front of you. You got to do their final ritual for them and then bring them. And there's nothing else in the bloody world can stop this whole shit. And I'm not saying that this process was like scarring and I never want to do it, but this process was a learning process because he was my first big death in my life. Then now when I do, like, I mean, when people close to you, when they get old, they do leave the world because due to old age. But to know that these are the process they're going to go through and you know the whole thing, right, is some sort. Also, you know how to prepare yourself more than you are just lost throughout the whole process. For me, Niketina, what I did was, that's when I isolate myself for a while. Then I went back to just playing soccer. I was playing soccer like every day. Every 1 week, I will at least play 4 times. Somehow I play futsal and everything. Then I would go play Achao. Then there was something which I couldn't do when he was alive. I went to take my license and I finished up my license. Then I wanted to also show him a lot of things lah. When I wish I could have done with him, I couldn't do. So I do it with my grandmother because she's still around, and I till now have the conversation with my grandmother and stuff. And funny thing is, still now I talk about, like, things when things go bad. Right? I will like, oh, I wish he was here. He could have talked to my parents and, like, make things life for me easier. Because he's overly protective of me, but in a good way, because he doesn't protect me without consequences. He protect me in order to teach me the right and wrong, and he conveys the whole thing in a way that only I could understand and no one could. Sharif, how about you?
Mine, in contrast, when it's a pretty small issue, but over the time as the issue happened, it really it really brought me down to a very, very low point in life. So issue it was after I graduated lah. So graduation kapro, the whole issue is my unemployment for over a year. So எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும். ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் நீ டிகிரியோட கிராஜுவேட் பண்ணோன்னா அந்த கிராஜுவேஷன் செரமனியில் யூ ஃபீல் ரியலி ஆப்டிமிஸ்டிக். ஓ ஆஃப்டர் யூ கிராஜுவேட், ஜென்ரலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் யூ வில் ஃபீல் வெரி ஆப்டிமிஸ்டிக் அபவுட் உன்னுடைய எய்ம்ஸ், உன்னுடைய லட்சியம், உன்னுடைய கோல்ஸ் அண்ட் அம்பிஷன்ஸ் தட் யூ செட் ஃபார் யுவர் செல்ஃப், and you're all like fired up to work on them immediately. And of course, at that point of time, your bank account is very, very less. You will have maybe double digit, triple digit kind of bank account balance. So to achieve whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to buy, whatever you want to achieve, you still need money. So one thing I was really dependent on is finding my first job. So first month went by, no problem. I was applying for job or normal pace la. Second one went by, okay, also no problem. I was okay, still hopeful, still confident. The months went by, 3 months, 4 months. Then I started to doubt myself, because from that மூணு மாசம் வரைக்கும் I didn't get any proper replies. I only went to 1 or 2 interviews lah, and they didn't go out well. And yeah, at that point, okay, I'm fresh to interviews lah, so I don't know what to ask. Practically what we want to ask the interviewer, or how we should respond to interviewer's question. I was a newbie, so interview lah attend பண்ணும்போது I was nervous, and I think it kind of shows. And of course lah, they won't really be confident to hire a nervous person. So time poga I was, it really got to my ego. It really, ego not in a bad way lah. You got to my self confidence. It was rock bottom. So now what I only could do is do the odd job every now and then, take up photography assignments, and yeah, that's the only thing. Probably that was my only source of income lah from that point of time. And then from then on, it got worse, because there was this point of time where I almost got a job. ஆனா கடைசி நிமிஷத்துல வந்து I got call ஒரு HR ல இருந்து கால் வந்துச்சு, say sorry, we can't proceed with the with the hiring process, onboarding process. Then from then on it really got to me. I was like super depressed. This was around I think 6 months into my joblessness lah. That's when I wanted to I felt நிறைய urges லாம் வந்துருச்சு. I wanted to run away from home, wanted to even a bit of suicidal thoughts also came into my mind, even though I didn't show it lah. Not severe, but the thought has crossed my mind. So that's why I'm just putting it out there. And after that I gave up lah searching for job. Or I think for 1 month I just gave up searching for job. I was in a zone. I was in my own zone. I'll wake up every morning, I'll just sit in the bed. I don't know what to do with life. And maybe I'll just go to the gym. Gym po kuda I lost the motivation. I just go to the gym for the sake of going to the gym. And then things happen, and then I was still talking to all of you. I was still talking to Yuva, still talking to Java, still talking to Barav as well lah. But deep down I felt that okay, I don't think I can. I don't think anything good is going to come up from this state of mind lah. So that's when I started to pull myself again together, and then I started applying job again. I have one friend lah. I have my close friend. பேர் வந்து Arif lah. Poly I know him from poly days. He sat down with me and then he explained to me the whole situation in a very philosophical, enlightening way. அது மட்டும் இல்லாம what I'm really very thankful for is he taught me how to structure my resume and how to structure my interview questions and my interview answers. So அதுலேருந்து whatever I could pick up, I picked up from him, and then I started to build my own base. And then after 4 or 5 months down the line, the job offer came for me lah. And that's how I got my first job in banking. This whole 1 year process is okay. Clearly it's a down. It's like a down scale, and then it went slowly, and then down somewhere and went up, slowly went back up. But what I wanted to put out here is this kind of thing it can really fuck you up, because you know you have only one life. You don't have a confirmed set of years that you're going to live. You can go anytime. So this kind of events is நீ experience பண்ணும்போது it's going to break you down completely. But at the same time, when I look back now, it's actually a huge character building moment. I gained a lot of maturity from then on onwards. Yeah, so that was my period in minor depression.
Actually, at this moment, right, I want to address something. I mean, we are a bit going out of topic, but I just need to touch this. Shari was saying there's suicidal thoughts and all, right? I have a few friends who have committed suicide lah. I mean, as much as I want to put this like thing out there, but I just want to say that to have the thought is also, it's already very, very, for me, I find it very major. But to go ahead and do it, and the way you do it, is really, really very upsetting. And because I have seen firsthand how the family reacts when people leave, and somehow this is like something which is not natural, and they do it on their own accords, right? I don't know whether I should say this, I don't know, but I feel that the family is selfish lah.
Which is selfish? Who is selfish?
Like going off like this. Because when you go off, yes, you go off, you end your pain, but you leave a pain to your dear ones for the rest of their life, which they have to live with it, and it's not their choice, you see.
I don't think those who do such things they mean it, because on the time in their head it's completely something different going on. They won't
know. They won't know. But that's why I say I'm not putting the blame on them, but I just say it's selfish, because once you end your pain. But who's going to end the pain of your parents for the rest of their life till they go off?
Yeah. Correct.
I'm not trying to say that, or I'm not trying to say, oh, this is a bad thing or this is a good thing, but I'm just trying to say that when you do this, the consequences are there. Any act in life has a consequences.
Yeah, Java, I agree with you on to a certain extent. It's quite insightful to whatever you have said. So moving on வந்து okay, Baraff, சொல்லுங்க, what is your take on all this?
My take on all this, as in my take on my own depression.
Your own depression lah, yeah.
Sorry.
இல்ல அவன் நீ எல்லாத்தையும் எடுத்துட்டு போக சொல்றான். I just realized இப்பதான்டா நம்ம ரொம்ப நேரம் கழிச்சு சிரிக்கிறோம்.
I know, because I'm the one who brings the smile on people's faces now. But anyways, that is my counter mechanism.
Go back to the serious topic.
Hey, that is my counter mechanism. Da. I try to counter my depression by trying to put smile on people's faces. So I won't say mine is like a major depression, minor depression. To me, it's depressing lah. என்னோட சுச்சுவேஷன் எப்படின்னா, நான் வந்து ஒரு ரொம்ப சின்ன வயசுலேயே at a very young age I had to take a lot of responsibilities which I didn't know how to do lah. I had to do certain things due to unforeseen circumstances. I had to take a lot of family responsibilities in that sense. I wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect, I'm still not. But I still had to go on with life and still be the teenager, still be a young adult, still have to be an adult. And all this support order இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டேன், but there are times where there was no support. I கண்ணை கட்டி காட்டுக்குள்ள விடுற மாதிரின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So that has been the journey of my most teenagehood. I don't show it to everyone, that's the thing. I don't, because ultimately I'm the guy who, you all might know this, but just say stupid stuff, be funny, who is funny. But there are certain things which I go through and I sort of try to keep it to myself. அதனாலே நான் தனிமையில ரொம்ப இருக்கிறது. And அந்த தனிமை வந்து இப்போ ரொம்ப பாதிக்குது. Because when I was younger, being alone was good. Was, what I needed or what I thought I needed. And growing older, I feel actually maybe not. It's more too much of hate space, too much of thoughts and unnecessary thoughts. Suicidal no solla maten. It's just overthinking, and it's a space that you don't want to be. And the depression is also like it's more of like, in a nutshell, it's just a very lost cause in that sense. And no matter what I do, it doesn't change. It's that kind of a thing. A lot of things that happened to me was circumstantial. I can't put a situation where ஜாவருக்கு நடந்த மாதிரி or ஷரீஃப்க்கு நடந்த மாதிரி. நிறைய இது வந்து it's down to different circumstances at point of life, but I would cite it back to one decision I made, which was to go into hiding or which was to be alone when there's an issue. I have never really spoken out when I had an issue. I started to delete myself. I grew up with that kind of attitude, and that has backfired a lot of times.
I relate to what you said, because நீயோ மாதிரி நான் சில விஷயம் வந்து நான் வெளியே பேசிக்க மாட்டேன். I feel, I don't know whether it's I'm shy, or I don't know whether it's I'm
sorry, I need to laugh because Shari said he's shy.
No, shy as in I'm not comfortable sharing or that kind of feeling lah. But போக நீ சொன்ன மாதிரி இந்த நெகட்டிவ் தாட்ஸ்லாம் வரும்போது, unnecessary தாட்ஸ்லாம் வரும்போது, it's gonna fuck your head up a lot. When I was jobless, the kind of unnecessary thoughts I got, right? Like
even then,
yeah, or ambleya, like am I fit to get my shit done? I felt I wasn't fit enough.
Yeah, I mean, even that jobless period also, because that graduation to jobless.
Exactly.
It is tough. Yeah. It is tough. So, to go through everything, go through that path, it is extremely tough. And to me, my defense mechanism was just comedy, saying stupid shit, just being the fun person. Because at the end of the day, now meme பார்த்தேன் actually. I saw this through a meme. வாழ்க்கையோட சார்ட்டை வந்து கிராஃப்ல போட்டு காமிச்சாங்க. It was very small. It was very, very small. So I told myself like, yeah, there are going to be times where we are going to be down. You can consider it to be depression. ஏன்னா இதை நான் ஒரு டாக்டர்ல கிளினிக்கலி போய் உனக்கு depression.
ஒரு வித்தியாசம் இருக்கு.
I-
clinically depressed and feeling depressed is different.
I know I was down. I know I was in a space where I know I shouldn't be. And to me, my defense mechanism was just comedy. That's why உங்களை மாதிரி எனக்கு அந்த ஸ்டாரி நிறைய இருக்கு அந்த மாதிரி, but it's just too very intimate, very personal, I should say.
Have you ever considered
Mm.
sharing your experiences to the right people?
That's another issue I have.
Because I used to be like that. Used to be. So now when I share my experiences to either three of y'all and also my wife, right, I do feel better at times. First of all, மனசுக்கு வந்து ஒரு ஆறுதலா இருக்கும் sharing experiences. Secondly, and most importantly, எனக்கு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் இந்த மாதிரி வர நெகட்டிவ் தாட்ஸ் அண்ட் unnecessary தாட்ஸ் வந்து இட்ஸ் counter to that.
Mhm.
Because the person you're sharing it to, right, they will reinforce you with positive thoughts.
I realized this quite late because when I was younger, I didn't trust anyone.
I understand you.
Even
I relate.
like, it's not because I don't trust them because of who they are. எனக்கு ஏன் நம்பிக்கை இல்லைன்னா a terrible thing happened to me and it was the person who I trusted the most in my life. And அதுவே அந்த மாதிரி நடந்துச்சுன்னா who is everyone else? With all due respect. With all due respect, you know?
Yeah.
So little later then I started opening up. I still have this very close knitted trusted people in that sense. You guys are one of them as well. You all should give a round of applause now.
யாருக்காச்சும் தெரியாட்டி இவன் என்ன பண்ண டேய் இந்த வாரம் ஸ்லிப் பண்ணிட்டாரு.
No, it's yeah lah. It's when you grow up, you mature. Like Sharif, you mentioned you mature given the situation. You mature when you're put in that situation. I mean, இப்போ பேசுறது இதை பற்றி ரொம்ப பேசுறது ரொம்ப ஈஸி. ஆனால் அந்த ஸ்பாட்டில் நம்ம இருக்கிறப்ப அந்த மைண்ட் ஃப்ரேமில் இருக்கிறப்ப ஃபக்டாக அதை விட்டு எப்படி வெளியே வந்தேங்கிறத இப்போ நினச்சா கூட I still don't know, but somehow we made it through.
நீ சொன்னில mature you as you grow up. I don't think maturity is tagged along with when you grow up. I feel that maturity is tagged along with experiences.
அதான் with the situation you're put in lah. It's not.
You might be young and you might have gone through a lot, and then you're mature already. You might be old, but you never go through anything, and you might be immature because you don't know how to handle situations.
It again falls back to maturity as to what you perceive as maturity as well. That's a whole different topic as well.
As you grow up.
Yeah. Coming to the last person in this group who started this very depressing conversation.
So not Vadapache crew.
It's a very unorthodox Vadapache episode. What was your situation, Macha?
Okay, wait, before I get into the situation, let me give the reason why the topic. So,
இதோட நம்ம நேயர்கள்லாம் நினைச்சிருப்பாங்க நமக்குள்ளே ஒரு
சீரியஸ் டாபிக்.
நம்மளா இவ்வளவு சீரியஸா இருப்போமா?
No, because right, the காரணம் என்னன்னா is at any point in time, right, like people who listen to us or people who we know or people who all listeners know, அவங்களுக்கு maybe they might be going through things in their own lives and they might feel alone. And by us producing this show, and நம்ம 4 பேர் are basically your average people who you see like in your daily lives, we are not like celebrities or something. We are just 4 friends who produce content on our own. So to hear people who are similar to you and people who are similar to you sharing their stories about how they were going through tough times, in a way can make you feel comforted because உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் that you are not alone. And while you might be suffering for different reasons, you all are suffering or have suffered, and we can all get through it. Which is why I wanted to share, which is why I wanted to actually talk about this theme. especially given the four of us have different reasons for feeling down, and people who listen to us can have different reasons also. So they might be able to relate to any one of our stories. So it's basically just to let people know that we can understand. We cannot feel your pain, unfortunately. No one can feel your pain, but we understand. It sucks, but we just have to have faith and trust the process. So that's the reason why I came up with it. And I feel like even though நம்ம வந்து comedy பத்தி பேசுவோம், like all social constructs or weddings and relationships and things like that, we do talk about things like that. But I feel that at its core, the reason why we produce this show is to make people feel better or make people laugh. And by talking about these things, at the end of the episode, we hope that people can relate to us and feel comforted that they are not alone. And if we have anything that they can take away from our stories, then we hope that they can feel better too. Okay. That being said, my story is a little bit, the timeline is a little bit messy. So I'll explain why. So with regards to my situation, I'm very open about the most impactful experience that I had in my life. I don't think I ever mentioned on air before, but எனக்கு வந்து 13 years old இருக்கும்போது my father passed away because of leukemia. So this was in 2006. So I was 14 lah, but I was going to turn 14. He passed away before that. So என்ன நடந்துச்சுன்னா, from my secondary 1 to secondary 2 time in school, right? How my teenagehood went was, I go to school, I come back home, I shower, I take my books and I go to the hospital every day for 2 years. So I didn't get a chance to watch football, watch like High School Musical or whatever shit show. I never ever got to do that. I didn't have a regular, I didn't have a regular typical mainstream teenage life, because mine was very, very family oriented, because somebody was in a very critical situation and they happened to be my father. So at that time I was struggling with education as well, because to jump from primary to secondary school is a totally different ball game. Like, you need to learn how to adapt and a lot of changes. So I was struggling to adapting to that. And then in secondary 2, I adapted to studying and I was actually doing pretty well. And closer to my final exam time, this was in like late September. That's when secondary school the final exam around. So late September time, my father was very critical. And I didn't know, nobody told me, because my exam was coming up. So what happened was, in late September, when my father was very critical, everybody told me as if it was fine like that. And they told me not to talk to, and they told me to just focus on my studies. And I didn't really speak to my father much also, because I thought everything was okay and they just told me to study. So 2 weeks, I didn't see my father. After that 2 weeks, I went, after my exam, I happily bought, like, at that time, FIFA 07 came out. Yeah, FIFA 07 came out. I save my allowance, I go buy the game, I come back, I've installed the game. Then they say, come to the hospital now. This is literally in the space of, after my final exam, 2 hours later, I bought the game, I went back home, I installed, I got the call. And you know how long it took to install games last time? Like, damn long.
PC.
So, PC. So I went to the hospital, and that day, my father died. So the thing that impacted me the most, right, is that I didn't get to see my father for 2 weeks before he died. I saw my father 2 weeks ago. He was fine. He was talking to me. And the next time I saw him, he was in a coma. The eyes were orange and all that. And the way he died really struck me a lot, because he died in my hands. I don't think a lot of people know this. He died in my hands. I was holding him and I didn't know what to do. And people actually told me what to tell him to try and get him alive. So I was like, looking at him, I held his head in my hand because I was told to do so. So because I really didn't know what to do. Then he died in my hands. Then how I knew he died was that they gave him an airbag, like that airbag stopped moving, and I was the first to realize. Because I realized that happened, and then a while ago, my family only started crying when the nurse called the time. So I was like, what the hell happened? After that, straight away, I went to the toilet, I vomited and all that, and that's when it started hitting me. So the tricky situation in our religion, Hindu religion, is that you don't get to grieve a lot immediately. Yeah, nah, I'm the only son. So I straight away I had to rush back home and prepare for the funeral already. I didn't even have time to grieve. So I went back home, I take out all the mirror, photo, everything, cover everything, and then prep for the funeral already. And then it was all a rush. But one of the most traumatizing incidents, like is this similar to what Jawahar did? So number religion where you need to bathe the body. And Nanda son, so I had to do it on my own. So it was all me for that. So I had to do that. I had to go and do that, and then the cremation, the tukradon I had to do. I had to travel with him all the way to the mortuary, the crematorium, and then crematorium also you cannot even look at him when you press the button to go inside the fire. You need to walk away. So the tricky thing is, right, you cannot even say goodbye like how you want to say. You have to follow the customs and do. So I couldn't see anything. They give you the photo, you need to hold the photo and walk away. Okay. Next day, I am the one who has to go and pick up the ashes also. So I had to go pick up the ashes. The most traumatizing part of this, right, is that it's not all gonna be ash. You are gonna see fragments of the bone. So I saw my father's pelvis, fragments of his skull, a bit of his knee, and I had to use my bare hands and scoop everything up and put it in the pot. And then you need to correct run. So at that age, to go through something like that, and the reason why I'm mentioning my timeline is a little bit messed up is that the thing, right, didn't hit me at that point. It hit me 2 years later. Because there's so much going on at that time, and after that, right, you deal with it for 1 month or two, and you're bonding with your family members who are still alive and all that. But you do go on with your life. Because at that age, you're a little bit young to understand the full magnitude of it. I did feel sad. I did know what happened. But at that time, not enough has happened in my life for me to realize that I was missing my father. So as I went on in my life, I realized that my father was missing little things, because I was just 12 or 13, things like shaving. I taught myself. Football. It used to be my father and I who watched it together. Now it was me. He's the reason why I'm a Liverpool fan also. Wrestling, which my father watched with me. Now he's all alone. So things like that hit you. You wish that you could share these things with your dad. So I wish when Liverpool won the league also recently, I wish I could have told my father. So as things happen in your life, you realize that you wish you could tell people. And when this really hit me that my dad wasn't here was in 2008. Like Singapore, we have a per year exam when you're 16 years old called the O-levels. And the exam according to our education system, you can you can choose what you want to do with your tertiary education. So மேல் படிப்பு. Like உங்க diploma இல்லாட்டி A levelக்கு ஏதாவது பண்ணணும்னா you can அந்த score வச்சு தான் you can sort of control where you go to. So at this time, after my dad died, and because of the way he died, right, I was so anti-authority with regards to I'm not going to do what you tell me to, because anytime my life can go. Because of what happened and how much impact that it had on me, I was subconsciously dealing with it. So I didn't take studies seriously at all. So because I was anytime I might die, which is what happened to my father. I was anytime people can die, you see. So I was very playful and all that. And then in O-level year, prelim time, closer to prelim time, I did so badly in school. Because of whatever happened, I was so playful and I wasn't prepared to study. So I literally hit rock bottom when I came back home. My mom looked at my grades and my sister looked at my grades, and they were damn disappointed in me. And they said a lot of things in disappointment that at that time really hurt me. And that time it really came crashing down whatever I was dealing with. Because my support system, when I was going through my dad's death, was disappointed in me. And that's the lowest you can feel, honestly. Because when you're going through something and when there are people who back you up, you can still get by with it. But when the people who back you up, this is not their fault whatsoever, by the way, it's my fault. But when the people who back you up are disappointed in you because of your lack of action, is very, very depressing. And that's when everything came crashing down. So after that, I just sat down on the floor and then I was thinking, okay, how what the hell just happened? That's everything really like the past 2 years of pain, concern about my future, the fact that I let my family down, all came really impacted on me. And that's when I decided to really sort of step up and study properly. And thankfully, within the 1 month that I had to do my O levels, I actually backed up because I figured out and there was a sense of urgency to deal with it. But the thing with death is right, like you you don't you don't really deal with it. You don't really deal with the fact that the person is gone. You learn how to live with the fact that the person is gone. You can never stop missing the person, honestly. It's just honestly not possible at all. It is possible to move on, but it's through learning. Not like, okay, he's dead and I'm good with my life now. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. But you understand that it's a part of life and you know how to cope with it mentally and emotionally, and at the same time to cherish the people around you. So like things like, for example, when I know what to say to people who are grieving now, because like Jawahar said, things you can tell people to do and not tell, and tell people not to do during a funeral. Like in my opinion, the dumbest question you can ask somebody who's grieving is, how are you? The response will obviously be like, shit lah, what else can you say? So there was a friend of mine who lost her parent also, like at the time. Then I heard the news already. I was like, I just gave her a message without any questions. I just told her like and I think this is one of the things you will only know if you've been through it. I told her, I'm not gonna ask you how you feel. I can relate. Take your time to deal with whatever you're dealing with. Let whatever emotion you have out. And then just know that there are people around you who are here for you if ever you need something. That's the only thing that I told her. And I got a reply as a smiley face, which I understood was what she needed to hear at that time. So, and I do get that from people who have dealt with loss as well, because at the same time, I know a lot of people, and something that I face in my own life as well is that I don't know how I'm going to deal with the death of certain other people in my life. As much as I say I know how to deal with death, there are a few soft spots for some people in my life, which is a little bit of a scary thought to deal with sometimes.
I'm not laughing at your situation. Sorry.
Yeah, relatability.
Relatable, bro.
Yeah. So it's like, I know it's, rationally what happens. Rationally it will happen. But to get to it and deal with it, because especially if the person is in your support system, is another thing. Or if the person is your main support system, is a total other thing. And that affects your life, you see. Like how your daily decisions, like going out late. For my situation also, like because of the way my father died, right? I was so paranoid about spending time with my mom that I never went out late until I was 20. I was fucking paranoid. Every time come back home, okay, see my mother at least for a while, then sleep. See my mother at least for a while, then sleep. But as a young adult, you need to learn how to live your life also at the same time. You need to balance, and those things come with practice. So yeah, I know I'm going a bit of a tangent and covering a few topics, but it's just a lot of things happened since then, and I feel like my life changed course as a result of whatever happened, and my philosophy on life changed as a result of what happened as well. Which is why, right, with regards to managing friendships and family, I do prioritize them a lot and I don't chuck them aside. And which is why even when I have a lot of jobs and a lot of projects that I'm doing on the side, I try to spend at least a message to people.
Mhm.
It helps.
Actually, right, I want to tell this.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm going to tell is just going to be funny because we're taking too seriously, right? So there's this friend of ours whose grandmother passed away. Okay. So Yuva and I didn't know what to message. So we both asked this stupid Sharif, "Day, what you message him?" You know what he replied? "Day, I reply my condolences." So we wanted to type something, but we don't know how to type. Then this Mundon say, "Hey, I already messaged her." So we wanted to use his idea base and send our own type of message, right? Day I send my condolences. Day I and you
இல்ல
wanted to
இல்ல
slap him.
எனக்கு என்ன தெரியுமா இந்த கட்டத்தில் சொல்லணும் யாரை செருப்பால் அடிக்கணும்னு தெரியல பின்னர் என்ன ஒருத்தர் இறந்துருக்காங்க அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி மெசேஜ் ஏன்னா ஒருத்தர் பாட்டி இறந்துருக்காங்க அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி மெசேஜ் பண்ணணும்னு டெம்ப்ளேட் கேட்குறா ஆலையா அந்த டெம்ப்ளேட்டுக்கு வந்து I just send my condolencesன்னு அனுப்பின ஆலையான்னு.
It's not template. Okay, so we didn't know what to type exactly, because
Sorry to hear your loss lah.
no, we kind of close. But
Sorry
not
to hear
that
your
close.
loss. Stay strong.
சொல்லிட்டாரு.
Very simple.
Yeah, simple. Very sorry.
இல்ல நீலாம் பேசாத டேய்
Hey.
இந்த கட்டத்துல நீ தான் இந்த குரூப்லயே மூத்த ஆளு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்னு பார்த்தா தான் உனக்கு நிறைய இருக்கணும்
Okay.
ஆனா நீ போய் I reply just my condolences சொன்ன
Hey, short and sweet answer da.
At that moment, I screenshot, I sent to you, and then you and I was scolding Sharif privately without Sharif knowing. We were trying. Then we was like saying, "இந்த முண்டை திருந்தவே தெரியாது, useless எதுக்கும் லாய்க்கு இல்ல."
This one was after Jim and issue, no?
So I mean another way you can counter depression right is just get a group of friends and talk shit.
Get a group of friends.
Actually no don't do that if that turns out to be like us right that's even more depressing.
That's the worst. No, knowing you is depressing, but
Day hearing you speak is depressing da. But actually you are in a way I can relate to that lah because அந்த support system அந்த ஒரு ஆள் இல்லாட்டி எப்படி உன் உலகமே இடிஞ்சு விழுவான்ங்கிற அந்த 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 ஃபீலிங் வந்து I've had sleepless
Nightless
nights over that and like ஜாவரோட situation அவர் தாத்தா வந்து இறந்தது it cost him a lot of grief in that sense so similar situation it's the support system lah always that support system.
I understand lah, like the whole situation and எல்லாருக்கும் வேற மாதிரி இருக்கும் and the impact that certain people have on your lives and all that. But unfortunately, as we realize through this topic and through நமக்கெல்லாம் நடந்திருக்கு is that things happen and we have to figure out a way to move on. So there's a popular quote, I don't know whether a lot of people nowadays knows it, but the older generation will know it, where it's from Lord of the Rings actually, so Sharif confirm knows.
I don't.
So basically there's this character called Gandalf who said something to the character Frodo. So he said something to the character called Frodo when he actually had like a burden and he was carrying the burden to in the story save the world. So so Frodo said, I wish I never got this burden. And to which Gandalf replied, I also wish that you didn't get this. But at the same time, this is what everybody who goes through tough situations say. This is what everybody who goes through tough times does say. But that is not for us to decide. All we have to do is decide what to do with the time that is given to us. That was one of the most realistic and in a way inspiring quotes that I've heard in my life as well, because it didn't downplay my problems. It made my problems seem like a part of life, and it made me think about practically how I'm going to move on, and also feel that there was somebody who was empathetic to my problems and understand my problems and let me know how to move on. So I hope that this is one takeaway that our audiences can get also, is that every one of us is going through different things. So I feel that I hope that this is one takeaway that our listeners can take away also, is that all four of us have mentioned different problems. I know that Jawar and I is something similar, but it's slight variations as well. But yeah, I hope that you guys can take away from it something positively, that there are people here who are going through stuff as well. You are not alone. And if you're going through shit, don't feel afraid to ask people for help, be it in your circle or professional help as well. Take some time to assess what you're feeling. Try to assess and understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. If you need help, choose people who you feel safe with. comfortable is one thing, but choose people who you feel safe with, make a decision and go talk to them, and then try to take it from there. But yeah, just at the end of the day, realize you're not alone, because when you feel like you're alone, that's when
Shit happens.
shit gets bad. But you need to realize that there are people in your life, and don't be afraid to seek them out. So yeah, we hope you guys can take that away and found our experiences and us coming out of our shells and sharing it in a public space useful as well. So that being said, let's proceed to our weekly tradition of the donut stories. Da.
தமிழ்ல சொன்ன ஒரே வார்த்தை அதுதான் டோனட் ஸ்டோரிஸ். இவ்வளவு நேரம் டைம் பண்ண
Hey, donut stories Tamil அவனுக்கு.
Oh yeah, sorry. English. Stupid.
So a couple of weeks ago we did an episode, right? Men don't listen.
He still never listened.
Still hasn't listened. Still hasn't listened.
Situation is such da.
So Javed, tell me what are
என்னோட வாட கதையா?
இல்ல உன் பக்கத்து வீட்டுக்காரன் வடகடை உன்னோட தானே?
இந்த வாரம் வடகதை என்றால் ஒன்றும் பெருசா இல்லை. I got myself a new lamp.
நீயே ஒரு பெரிய பல்பு. நீயே ஒரு பெரிய பல்பு. உனக்கு இன்னொரு பல்பா?
It is for my work.
சொந்தமா வேலை.
And the good thing is it goes any color da.
Hey, I don't see black.
That is your da.
சொந்தமா வேலை கேத்துறான். I am proud of you da.
விளக்க பத்தி
Yankee candle.
போற கல்யாணத்துக்கெல்லாம் கேண்டில்ஸ் வாங்கி கொடுத்து எல்லா கல்யாணத்துக்கும் சரி வேணே கொடுத்தேன்.
No. Only one. Just wanted to play a prank with you. That's all.
So that is my vadakadai. Just simple and short and sweet. Oh, and one more thing. I really want to say another thing is I got myself another two more things. This is for my work. I mean, I'm very happy. I got myself a laser measurement tool which can go up to 120 meter. Now I don't use measuring tape all the time like an idiot. Then another one was I got myself a laser for work. So fully very excited, no? வேலைக்குன்னு நிறைய ஜாமான் வாங்கியிருக்கேன்.
இந்த கட்டத்துல எனக்கு ஒரு சீன் ஞாபகம் வருது.
என்ன?
சந்திரமுகி படத்துல ஜோதிகா வந்து இன்னொரு ரஜினிகாந்த் வந்து ஒட்டியானோ நெத்திச்சுடி
லைட்
ஐஸ் இருக்கும்
பல்பு.
So yeah, these are my short and exciting stories.
I can imagine the 3 hours. பார் முழுசா மாறன கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் இருக்கறே பார்.
It's interesting lah. I mean, I never thought I would buy this kind of tools all, but it's fun. 100, it can go up to 120 meter. Then it's like, அப்பா ஒண்ணுமே 10 மீட்டர்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே மேலே ஏறி என்ன தேவை. That is my vadakadai. How about Sharif?
என்னோட வடகதை is simple. So as everyone knows, I work in a bank. I'm in the banking industry. So ஒரு சந்தோஷமான நியூஸ்னா I finally get to work from home after all this.
Permanently or what?
Not, I don't know, permanent until I don't know what the government says about they are lifting restrictions. So as of yesterday, I was working from home. So I don't know. I just feel a lot of time is saved lah. I was multitasking.
So my one is that எனக்கு வந்து கொஞ்ச நாளா முட்டி வலி. அது ஒன்றும் புதுசு இல்லை. பட் பாஸ்ட்ல ஐ திங்க் early April இருந்து my knees were damn thorough, like ரொம்ப மோசமா இருந்துச்சுல. Then recently I started, I mean I've been rehabbing for the past 2 months. I recently started getting a little bit more pain free, and recently I had to do a lot of physical work of moving stuff and fixing stuff, especially the past few days. So I done the same old. I realized my knee got a bit better, so I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful to have had the knowledge to been through enough knee problems to know what to do when the problem comes about also, and to also know how long it takes to recover. So yeah, it's a little bit of a negative positive story lah.
How did you what are the ways to like prevent your further knee injury?
Strengthen your muscles and keep do your physio, right? and keep your leg iced and elevated when you sleep lah. So exercise செஞ்சிட்டு or whenever you walk or something, you have to be disciplined enough to always ice the leg. And தூங்கும்போது just put a few pillows under your leg and keep it above your, not directly above your heart, but higher than your heart is when you're lying down. So it sort of reduces the blood flow there a little bit and prevents swelling lah. But yeah, the physio is very important, and icing after physio is very important also. Because physio செஞ்சிட்டு ரொம்ப வீங்கிரும். So you need to ice it to damage control, and you need to be patient lah. And technically you are a patient, but characteristically you
Patient
need
ah, be patient ah.
yes, the patient must be patient. Bharat, do you say yours already?
Mr. Bharat.
No, right? Okay, please, what is yours?
I got nothing happening in my week.
Okay, end episode.
இத்துடன்
வாரம்
படக்கதையை நம்ம நிறுத்திக் கொள்வோம். பாரஸ் வரதை யாரும் கேட்கற மாதிரி இல்ல, கவலைப்படுற மாதிரி இல்ல. So நான் இந்த
But he is obliged to say.
yes
He has to come out with some bullshit.
Something.
ஸோ இந்த வாரம் என் வடகதை என்னன்னா, இட்ஸ் மை கிராண்ட் மதர்ஸ் பர்த்டே.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Grandma.
It's my grandmother's
Okay.
birthday. But I don't think I've anything big planned also. But it's always nice to, you know, பார்ட்டியோட பிறந்த நாள் அவங்களோட செலிப்ரேட் பண்ணுறது. It's quite close to my heart lah. So I'm fortunate enough to celebrate another birthday with her. And hopefully many more birthdays with her. So இதோட வந்து இந்த வாரம் எபிசோட் முடிஞ்சுது. இந்த வாரம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் ஒரு ரொம்ப சென்சிட்டிவ் டாபிக் தான். யூனோ இட்ஸ் a bit of unorthodox topic from our வடபோச்சே team, but இது வந்து it's one of the relatable topics that all of us actually go through. Daily இல்லை, but at least once in our lifetime we actually go through these situations. And நீங்களும் இந்த மாதிரி situations வந்து பேர்ப்பீங்கன்னு we don't hope, but we believe that you've gone through situations like that. So the மாதிரி situationல இருக்கிறவங்க வந்து I hope, you know, this story sort of like, you know, add value and, you know, make you know that you're not alone out there. உதவி வேணும்னா reach out to people. I hope our stories, you know, actually sort of help you if you're going through a tough situation.
And if let's say after hearing this episode or நம்மளோட கதைகள், if you have anything that you want to let us know, or if you want to share with us anything that you are going through as well, feel free to reach out to us on நம்மளோட podcast or the page or on our personal pages as well. So we would love to hear you and converse with you if need be. So yeah, please feel free to do that. And we trust that the episode has been useful to you, and at the end of the day made you feel comforted. So thank you for being with us, and we trust that you will join in next week.
வடபோச்சே.